Hey guys, Jonah here, back with some more beer. It's been a while. But yeah, been feeling a bit down lately, and been drinking cider as well. You might have seen I've uploaded, especially if you're friends with me on Facebook, I've uploaded a homebrew cider video that shows you how ridiculously easy it can be to make cider, and we are deep into cider season 2. Um, yeah, just not been, not been up for making videos. Ironically, I had to make a video today for work, to do some training, which I haven't done for a while. I used to do that a lot because that's what I used to do for a living. Um, and man, it took me 5 or 6 takes. It took me like 3 hours to record a half an hour video. I keep messed it up, um, because I wasn't using my home equipment. I was at work, so I was using the work equipment. Didn't quite match up. Didn't really, use the right things. Then I had to upload it to a different file source, and then getting it off because of where I work, which I can't tell you because it's hush hush secret. Um, but yeah, trying to get things recorded and then sent back through a firewall. Just don't ask. Ridiculous, ridiculous. But anyway, I thought I'd do a beer review on camera for a change. You know how we roll. I make mistakes, but that's the way I do it. It's not very well edited. It's a kind of one-trick pony for the drinking man. And believe me, I need a drink today. Um, and I have had this for a while. This is the brew I'm doing. You probably saw it on the label. It is pumpkin spiced stout, um, from Glen Cannich Brewery, which are a brewery that they do. I think it's Home Bargains. I bought this in. It's a pumpkin beer, which is pretty cool. Um, and I'm part Scottish, so I like things like that, stags and all that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, Glen Cannich Brewery in Cannock, which is near Inverness. Um, we've got barley, hops, yeast, cinnamon, vanilla, nutmeg, ginger, cloves. Doesn't say it's got any actual pumpkin in, which is always weird. But then it doesn't say pumpkin; it says pumpkin spice, which is fair dues, I suppose. 4.5% stout. I think this was like £1. I think it was 120, something like that. And it says a creamy stout with a velvety rich backbone, subtle roasted notes, sweet spiced vanilla finish, micro brewed and canned in the UK. And please, if you're over 18 years old, please stay away from pregnant women. The chief, even the chief medical officer says so. Um, and I mean, it kind of gives away that it's got pumpkin, but it does say pumpkin spice. So, I mean, pumpkin seeds, maybe? I don't know. I know there are a couple of pumpkins left around in the world, but most of them have been carved and thrown away by now. Ours is in the patch, the veg patch, and all the slugs and the creepy crawlies and all that. They're in there. It's like, see this guy on the label. It's like the creepy crawlies have crawled in his mouth and his nose and his eyes, and they're eating his brains. Shaman. Okay, so I have got the nice stout glass, I should say, and this has been, because this was supposed to be reviewed around Halloween, so that's a good week and a bit ago. So it's been in the fridge for probably far too long. Wow, look at that. No head at all. Under a fingernail's head. Pretty ridiculous. Right, so that's there. That's what Harry Potter said. Ridiculous. In one of those films. I don't know. We try to watch them all. Got them recorded, obviously, because I'm I quite like a bit of fantasy every now and then. And I found out David Eddings. Do you remember David Eddings? If you're sort of my age, maybe a bit older, the Belagariad and all those kind of epic, ridiculous fantasy. I found out the other day that he was a child abuser. Absolutely nuts, man. But then again, I suppose Hitler, he made good roads, nice straight autobahns, you know. Is anyone truly evil? Nice. That's nice. That's got a nice spicy edge to it. Um, got quite a lot of dark coffee kind of vibe going on as well, which wasn't one of the things it said on the side. So maybe I'm getting something slightly different. Yeah, darkness, a graininess, that kind of stuff. Did it? Are my eyes deceiving me? Did they say nutmeg on here? Nutmeg is. Oh, it did say nutmeg. Nutmeg is one of my favourite spices. One that I used to smoke back in my youth. And I don't recommend it, dear viewer, but it does get you a bit high if you smoke nutmeg. Absolutely crazy. Right, chin chin, let's dive in. Oh. Now, the lack of head kind of gives it, drinking through a head, I should say, gives you a kind of creaminess that trickles down your lips and into your taste buds. And that's a bit lacking on this bit. I mean, you can see we've got a little bit round the sides. Oh, look, you've got a bit of a line. That's really ridiculous. Um, but yeah, as a result, it's a bit more bitter um, than I'd thought. But there is that kind of vanilla thing going on, which gives a really nice kind of sweet creaminess to it. Um, yeah, I was getting a lot more coffee notes on the nose than I am in the mouth. Um, I'm kind of getting like a bitter chocolate taste from the kind of malt profile on this beer. But it's nice because it's like one of those chocolates that they've put a bit of spice into. And like I said, nutmeg, to some degree, cinnamon too, especially this time of year. If you're in a coffee shop, I was going to say the name of a coffee shop, but hey, I don't get to go to that many coffee shops. But if you do, now is the time to put nutmeg, to put cinnamon on top of your cream, or if you have that sort of thing, instead of just chocolate. Um, I've even put nutmeg into an espresso. I don't fuck about when I drink my coffee. So when I'm in the coffee shop, I usually just have a double espresso. And yeah, whoever I'm with gets a bit annoyed because I literally sit down, right, let's go. And they're there with their latte or their whatever. And it's like, we're there for the next half an hour. And I'm like, let's go, let's go. I'm ready to go by then. But I recognise those spicy tastes. So this has got a nice comforting vibe about it. It is a bit watery. It's only 4.5%. And you need some reasonably cheap alcohol. You're not too worried. Oh, let me dive in a bit more, but I've just remembered something I'm going to tell you. Oh, this is really close to being fantastic, but not quite there. Um, I think a little bit of oat in there, give it a bit more creaminess, maybe help the head retention a little bit, and that kind of creaminess would kind of play into that pumpkin spice thing. Because pumpkin spice, a lot of people are going to think pumpkin spice latte, aren't they? It's a bit too bitter, but I think, yeah, I think a bit of oats or something to give it a creaminess would really help this beer out a lot. Um, as is, the flavours don't quite meld together. Wow, pardon me. As perhaps they should do. If you've got one of these, my advice: don't put it in the fridge like I did. That was a bad move. I think if it was a bit warmer, it would have generated a bit more head, and it might have even got rid of some of those. So, well, I don't know. It might have made them more pronounced. Some of those kind of bitter notes and stuff. But I have to say, for a beer from one of the cheaper shops in the UK, and Glen Cannich, I think I've seen those beers before, down at Home Bargains. Not a bad beer at all, but could be better. Let's say that. So what I was going to say earlier on, I was in Asda, which is another one, probably the most renowned of the cheaper supermarkets. And it's not as cheap as it used to be. I don't know why, but everything's blooming expensive nowadays. But anyway, Asda, I found their cider. You could buy a 4 pack. I think it was a 4 pack of cider, and they were the big cans, the 440s, for £2.40, I want to say. So like well under £1 a pint, like well under. Like we're talking about 80p a pint of cider, and it was 5% cider. It probably wasn't real cider at all, but it was 5% alcohol. Cider season because it's November now. My God, did it hit the spot? Really nice, but it's insanely sweet. My teeth, oh man, messed my teeth up. But yeah, well under £1 a pint. So nice one to Asda, a nice one to Home Bargains for this one. This could have done with being like 5 or 6%. Oh, and look, we are forming some lines. You know what I might do is leave this for 20 minutes, or don't worry, I'm not going to leave the video running for 20 minutes, but might leave the end of that just to see if it warms up. Does it improve or does it not improve? But as is, perfectly palatable, but a little bit too separated to be fantastic. Not as strong as I would like. Could do with a bit more body in there, a bit more thickness. Do with some creaminess, maybe some oats, maybe even some wheat in there. But because it's Scottish, maybe stick with the oats, eh? But yeah, Chamon, the one that got away from Halloween. Glen Cannich Brewery, pumpkin spice stout. Not at all bad. Why not try and see if you can get some on extreme offers, because they'll probably be trying to get rid of this stuff if you can still get it. Dear viewer, if you have liked this, please click down below, like and describe, and we'll be back. We'll be back, pardon me, with another beer review real damn soon.